We're actually here today.
It seems everything works.
I think we've come...
Everything is here.
We've done some clever coordination
A
of colours.
spontaneous combination.
Yeah. I'm like white on the inside, brown on the outside, and you're...
I think we are looking each other too much.
Well, it's more that I only have 3 shirts.
And
And
we have to be very aware because now we have both the same shirt. Remember the shirt Danny gave to you?
the green one.
The square one.
Oh, yeah.
I have exactly the same one.
Oh,
so
dear.
there's a big risk. One day we will.
Do you wear it like as an
Look-
outer jacket shirt, or do you wear it like a normal shirt, or do you have
Normally
it
over jacket.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Danny. Tell me when Roque wears that, so I wear it, and then we have the same outfit.
We can choose like period days and
That's
odd days.
horrible.
Odd days are mine.
Remember, Tuesdays is coat on top.
Yeah, it would look like a uniform. Welcome back, everybody, to the tastings of Madrid and Tarakat.
So now, hang on, I've got people here. I've watched all your tastings, but it's taken me an entire pandemic to figure out how to comment. Well, hello, Sarah.
Sarah, where have you
Welcome, Sarah.
been?
And hello,
Eva.
Dad. Hello,
Mr. Tarakat.
Classic. So yes, welcome to another tasting. Now, as always, when we do our tastings, and with every box, we're very generous. We're too generous, I think. We like to give people an opportunity to promote our shop, and at the same time, win something.
Yeah.
Now,
We're very generous.
this monthly prize is usually a bottle of wine, as it is this week. But now, before I show the prize, if they want to win the prize, what the hell do they do? What do they do? While I open this.
If you want to be part of the contest, you have to upload a picture of the bottle we are going to drink today. You have the whole month to do it. So do it, upload it to your favorite social networks and tag us. That's all. You're in.
Nobody ever uploads to OnlyFans anymore.
Oh yeah, our OnlyFans account is very sad.
Do you know what I found out? OnlyFans apparently was initially started for, I think it was baseball teams in America.
Oh really?
It's like, what? I was like, what?
What interesting twist.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? I thought it was like loads of weird people taking their clothes off. But no, apparently it was for sports teams if you wanted more access to the players. And it was only for fans. Only fans. And now it's just weird perverts. Okay. But anyway, so not the baseball one. This is the prize you can win this month.
Yeah, it's a bottle of our favorite Casa Rojo Ribera del Duero wine, Alexander the Great.
Funky label.
Yes, it's everything they do in this winery. Excellent wine. It was
Tempranillo, Cabernet Sauvignon, Malbec, and Merlot from Ribera del Duero.
There's a beautiful extravaganza.
I will still never forgive you for going here without me.
It's a 12 months.
Son of a bitch.
More than 12 months. Wonderful wine.
I remember
from Ribera.
when we first opened the shop, this was one of the most, I mean, it's expensive. It's like 32 euros or something. But I was like, oh my God, we have really expensive wine. And I remember once a man from New York, we had a tasting. This was like the first month we opened. And he said, all right, Luke, I need a nice bottle of wine to take back to the States. And I was like, well, I mean, I have this wine. I know it's a bit expensive, but it's really good. And he just went, you think that's expensive? That's like 2 glasses of wine in the bar by my house. Like, wow, America's a disaster. Okay. So anyway, hello, hey Kevin, how's it going? So yes, today we're drinking Le Big Boy.
Yes, this is the big boy of the box of April. This is Sicrya.
I mean, to be the other red is the big boy as well. This is the biggest boy. If that makes sense.
This is Sicrya. This is Syrah from Yekla. That's not Yekla Dio. If you check in your maps, Yekla is the little pink region on the top of the Murcia province. This very respectful wine region is the home of wonderful wines. Yesterday we have a wine tasting here of Mediterranean wines, and
so I'm really happy.
A wine from Yekla won by far from Castaño, right?
Who chose that?
Oh,
who chose both number 1 and number 2 wines? Oh yeah,
you did.
That's guy. I was like Madrid and Daracot.
But it was my choice. You let me choose.
Yes. I was like
mine, and I said this is gonna be mine, and I won.
Although that's
so literally I won again.
I hate you so much.
I'm probably the one that knows the less in these tastings, but I'm super lucky. I always win.
Son of a bitch. Right.
Because the wine of world, the world of wine. Sorry.
The wine of world.
The world of wine is plenty of these pretentious people. They have spent a lot of money and time studying these books, and they forgot the most important thing: to drink.
Excuse me, I've never forgotten how to drink.
To drink good wine, and
maybe. So speaking of wine, put the bottle on the screen. I think I got. Did I find a photo of the bottle? Yes,
oh yeah, you did.
There's not a lot of information on this. This is one of the smallest projects we've ever had. There's, if you Google these guys, there's not much going. So I found a few things. This is the bottle we're having. I found one with grapes. The Syrah grapes, as you can see. So yes. Oh, here we go.
Come on.
Oh, that's clever.
Look, Daracot, please.
let's do the tasting like this. That's good. Okay. Right. Should we start with the information?
Yeah. Well, let's start. The name of the wine.
It's a really weird name. It's Sicrya. So it's Sicra. But officially, if you look at the small print at the bottom there, we'll talk about this today. It's Sicrya Ecologico. So they're really plugging it as an organic wine. So it's Sicrya or Sicrya Ecologico, basically.
Perfect. So vintage.
This is 2015 still.
2015.
The good old days, as I call it. When I had,
6 years.
I used to, when I used to sleep well and no stress in my life. It's a good year. Good year.
It's remarkable. Grapes is Syrah, 100% Syrah.
100% full throttle Syrah.
By the way, look, it's Syrah or Shira?
Oh, neither. It's Sicrya. No, it's not. Well, we'll talk about this a bit later, but it's Syrah in Europe and most of the world, but Shiraz in Australia.
Okay.
Crazy Australians. Bunch of criminals. Shiraz.
Okay, and the alcohol content. Beware.
16.
Try not to smoke next to this
My
one.
mother would say, don't strike a match, whatever you do.
Producer is Bodegas Odum.
Odum. It's the weird name.
And the region is Yekla, although it's not the official.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. It's basically the bodega is 15 minutes down the road from Yekla, but it's not officially Yekla. But we'll talk about that later. So we'll talk about the region of Yekla because it's the same. It is the land, but it's officially, I guess, a vino de mesa, table wine. Basically.
Yeah, it should be considered table wine.
Right. Cheers.
So this is the perfect proof. A table wine can be wonderful. Table wine doesn't mean supermarket wine.
I love this wine.
Cheers,
so
by the way.
Cheers. This is it's so good. Right, color.
So visual.
So it's darker than my heart.
Yes.
It's so dark.
It's so dark, and
pitch black,
it's
you see
already in the browning process.
Yeah, you can see this lovely little orangey red rim there.
This is what happens when you have an old wine. It starts losing the pigments die.
I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it sticks to the glass. You can't really see it on camera, but it sticks. The color sticks to the glass. Look at that. It's so. Oh yeah. Anyway,
it's very well filtered. At least.
Holy mother.
This is not in my glass. We don't have sediments.
No teeth either.
No teeth.
That smells so dark.
It's dark.
It's hard to explain this. It's when it smells dark. It smells like. They say like fruta compotada, like really mature, jammy fruit. But also there's tobacco, there's like smoke, there's pepperiness. I mean, that's Syrah still. There's a bit of leather. But like light, it's still really fruity.
It's a very nice dark one.
Is there like... I don't get much vanilla, but there's like a... I just felt it in my...
It's very alcoholic.
Yeah, it's great.
When you get one of these alcoholic wines, isn't it a good idea to decanter it?
just open it up for a bit, but you do want to let it breathe a bit because all the volatiles.
Are you warming the wine, touching the glass like that?
Sorry,
Do you
Dad.
think this is tavern?
Do you think this is Casa Gonzalez? Right, can we have a drink for goodness sake?
Yes.
This is incredibly complex and very intense on the nose.
But it's a smooth, velvety.
It's so creamy.
Yep.
That alcohol, what it gives you is viscosity, obviously. But also alcohol, when it gets naturally quite high, sort of mimics sweetness.
There's a licorice here.
It's licorice. Yeah, it tastes like Bertie Bassett's. No, sorry, licorice all sorts. It's a round. It's a English sweet.
Which one? This black.
Yeah, you know them.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we call them regaliz in Spain.
But we have a specific brand called.
We have the red and the black.
Yeah.
Tastes.
Yeah. And the red one is like fake licorice.
We are not that different. We're the same. Brexit.
What else have we got? Let's check the tannins as well.
This is the most disgusting part of the.
Very dry, but still juicy.
Apologize.
And the acidity is great. Shut up. Really good acidity as well. This wine, for me, is spectacular. It's big, it's dark, it's smoky, it's smooth, it's juicy. It is not subtle. It's like, I'm here! It's a big wine, but it's gorgeous.
What will you pair with this wine? Kill someone and cook it.
This is a wine after you've murdered somebody. I find these wines a little bit complicated sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little bit complicated.
It's big, but it's smooth. So maybe like a guiso, like a stew, a meat stew.
I mean, if you go ahead with a roasted lamb, it will work as well.
But I want.
It's big enough for that.
Yeah, it's big enough. But I want the dryness of.
But
Madeira,
I think
maybe.
you can play more with this wine. You can go with more. Even something spicy. It would go.
Are you actually insane?
Why?
With spicy, you mean like picante?
I would go with something spicy with this. Like michirones picante. Oh, super good.
Okay, you mean Spanish picante, so not
Yeah.
spicy. I was like, if you have this a curry, it's going to taste like fire. Please don't have this with a Thai curry or something.
Luke and I, we always have this eternal discussion about he says the term spicy in Spain is.
It's not a discussion. It's the fact that you guys don't understand what spiciness means.
So for Spanish,
oh, it's spicy. What is it? Is it chili? No, it's black pepper.
Do you think Spain is not spicy enough?
Don't ask them because we know it's not. And now you're gonna feel this big when everyone goes. There's no such thing as spicy in Spain. Bravas sauce is spicy. You come to a British curry house and you will say goodbye to your assholes. What's on fire? Awful. Anyway. So yes.
Glass, the bigger, the better.
Yeah, I think my dad. He says. I think my dad would like this a lot. Yeah, God. When you come over in 2025, I'm gonna have to delay probably try and go back in July now.
Why?
Because I can't go home. I've got to quarantine and stuff.
Really?
So probably it will get to the point where it's autumn probably before they can come here. So maybe summer. In England we have one day a year called summer. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's usually in July.
That day.
That day. Anyway. So yes, big old glass basically.
And temperature 16, 17.
17. Yeah, this one not too cold.
Price. This was one of the big offers, big bargains of the box because actually it's
20
not a
euros.
very 2021.
2021, yeah.
Yeah.
So we were very lucky because we love them and they love
Yes.
us. They gave us a special offer for this box to get it in, but it is the most expensive one in the box.
We have had one of the younger wine in the quarantine boxes.
It was a Sicrya as well. wasn't it?
Sicrya. Was Sicrya? You remember?
Sia.
Sia, sorry,
Yeah.
Sia. This is
This is
Sicrya
Sicrya and then
and
Sia.
Sia.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right.
That was like the first box.
One of the
the second
first
box.
boxes, yeah.
Ah.
In the hard quarantine.
So long ago.
1 year ago.
Yeah,
not
God.
that long ago. So when you mention they, what do you mean?
So, what do you want to do first? Shall I talk about Should we say hello to them first?
I would go with them.
All right.
I would go with them. Sorry.
I love it when you screw up. It's like I would go with them.
I literally.
Hola, soy José, ella es Noelia, mi hermana. Somos de Bodega Sodum y queremos aprovechar esta ocasión para mandarle un fuerte saludo a nuestros amigos de Madrid Tarracot. Que también queríamos aprovechar para presentar el proyecto en el que andamos metidos. Nosotros procedemos de una familia de larga tradición vitivinícola en la que nuestro padre elaboraba su propio vino de forma artesanal y en 2014 decidimos comenzar a elaborar para presentarlo al mercado. Nosotros disponemos de viñedos tanto en Jumilla como en Yecla, lo que se denomina el altiplano de la región de Murcia, y elaboramos de una forma totalmente ecológica y sostenible y artesanal, cuidando hasta el más mínimo detalle de nuestros productos.
Y sin ningún tipo de proceso industrializado. Como veis, cuando fundamos Bodega Sodum, decidimos que íbamos a hacer vinos primordialmente monovarietales, utilizando la variedad predominante en la región de Murcia, que es la monastrell. De ahí que tengamos estos 4 vinos. 2 monastreles, un vino joven y un vino crianza, que son, digamos, nuestro buque insignia, puesto que es una variedad que se desarrolla muy bien en estos climas. Lo que pasa que nos da unos vinos con una alta graduación, puesto que empieza a expresar todo su potencial a partir de los 13 grados de maduración. Son unos vinos que tienen un toque dulzón y mucha fruta. Y por otro lado tenemos otros vinos monovarietales de la variedad Sicrya, que es otra variedad que se desarrolla muy bien en climas extremos como el de Yecla, con inviernos muy fríos y veranos muy cálidos y secos. Estos vinos no tienen tanto dulzor como la variedad monastrell, pero sí que son vinos con mucha intensidad y mucha fruta, que espero que hayáis probado y si no, los probéis muy pronto y que os guste. Así que un saludo muy fuerte y que tengáis un buen día.
Yay!
Jose and Noelia.
Brothers, siblings.
Yeah.
Siblings.
So this is, well, let me talk a bit about the winery. I think we have a photo of the winery where it says, if you can find the bodega photo, this is the only photo I could find. So it's not a beautiful vineyard photo because these guys are so small. This is the only thing I found. It's so cute. Isn't that sweet? This is...
Maybe the environment is amazing. I'm sure it's amazing.
Well,
it's Jumilla, Yecla, it's a beautiful space.
I mean, I found a photo.
Lost.
I mean, in a minute you can show the bodega, the vineyard, I suppose. But this is not some ginormous corporate winery. This is the absolute opposite. This is a small, tiny, sort of family business, basically. So their grandfather was the guy who started making wines in Yecla. So this is the Yecla, very dry, but very beautiful as well. The grandfather basically used to make a lot of bulk wine, granel wine. But then that closed, and then 30 years later, the grandkids, so these guys, they wanted to sort of carry on the winemaking tradition. So they're just south of Yecla, but they've got, about 30 years of basically dry climate, lime, stony soil viticulture going on. And it was very important for these guys, as we've said on the bottle, to be organic. Now, we'll talk a bit about organic or ecológico in Spanish in a bit, but this was their key thing. It was all about being sustainable. I found a nice quote, it was on their website, from the Brundtland Report in 1987, which is, "Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs." So these guys are really, this is their mission statement. So it's a really nice, ethic they've got going on. Obviously, it's all manually picked and stuff like that. With this particular wine, so it's 2015, the wine that these guys make, they've got the Sia range, which are the younger ones. Then they have a big boy monastrell, but our favourite one was the Sicrya, because the monastrell is amazing. Monastrells, we have quite a lot. We don't have as many Syrahs, and this one really just jumped out at us. So it's 12 months in French oak. Their vineyards are about 580 meters altitude, so it's not that high compared to other bits of Spain, like compared to Ribera del Duero or something. But because of the intense heat down there, they're able to achieve naturally this very high sugar level in the grapes, which gives them this 16% alcohol. But yeah, Jose and Noelia, they're doing that kind of the wine dream. They're
Lovely people.
just making the wine they want, small production. There's only about 1,000 bottles of this.
It's a honest wine.
It's honest to goodness, meaty, beefy loveliness.
Well, this is the most controversial wine probably we have had in our boxes, because it's ecologico, and that's a very controversial world in especially in the shop when people come and say, do you have natural wines, do you have organic wines, do you have ecological wines? There is like a big misunderstanding about these terms and some confusion. Being ecological, being organic, or being natural, it's not the same.
I think sometimes people think if you say organic, oh no, that's weird natural wine. No. They're very different things.
And there are good wines, there are bad wines as well. So not necessarily being ecological or natural, it's better. Actually, it can be a risk.
Especially natural, yeah.
Especially if you don't know what you are buying or where you are buying your wine. Because actually they are very unstable wines. So it's a big risk if you don't buy a good one. Then once you arrive at home and you open the bottle, you will find you have bought very expensive vinegar. And
that's why we don't have that many natural wines in the shop. It's a risk for us as well.
Yeah, and we sometimes we don't find where is the good thing on that. I mean, I am not more and more. I'm becoming an enemy of the term natural wine. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's wrong. There's no something like natural wines, because wines are not natural.
Yeah.
Homes are human made and are not natural at all. So what do you mean with natural? Natural is,
I like the way you said that, as if you're like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
You, right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, you. What do you mean? It's not. Maybe I prefer the term that you use it a lot, or I have heard it from you a lot. Minimal intervention.
Yeah, minimal or low intervention wine.
Low intervention wine. I prefer that term. But yeah, in this case we don't have natural wine. It's not a natural wine. It's ecological wine, and ecological wines are those you will recognize for having this logo in the in the bag. So
where's my hands? There you go. Oh god.
Oh my god, look, dark.
There we go. Christ. Hang on, let me just try and can't push it out of the way. It's really heavy.
Okay. So that's the ecological European logo for an ecological wine. And what does ecological wine mean?
So
what do you know about ecological wines by far?
I think the key thing is to differentiate I'm sure you have some lovely detailed notes as usual, very well prepared man, but in very, very basic terms, there's sort of the three buzzwords: organic or ecological, biodynamic, and natural. Now natural, well, let's start on the other end. Biological, Spanglish, ecological or organic, and biodynamic, they basically only refer to the agriculture, the way you're treating your land. Natural refers to the process in the winery of man, not adding anything. Now, natural wines are pretty much always made with probably biodynamic grapes, but organic grapes or ecological grapes, the idea is it's just trying to treat the land better, use less chemicals. You can use chemicals, but those chemicals, if I remember, have to be organically created, not synthetic stuff. You can still use sulfites. Organic wine is not freaky geeky wine by definition. It's just, let's try not to kill the planet.
It's a series of practices and cares you take in the vineyard, in the harvest, in the production, and in the bottling of the wine. And it's about since from the cares you take in the vineyard as the all the products you use for taking care of your plants or to attack the plagues or how environmental you are. So there is a list of allowed practices for that. But also, for example, the harvest should be done in boxes that are food prepared, that cannot be done in any other recipients. And even the sulfur, for example, in some parts it's considered 100 grams per liter of sulfur. Some others, but normally it's 150.
Yeah.
And 200 in whites.
That's the thing. I think people have this misconception that if you say it's an organic wine, it's going to be some crazy hippie wine. No. Okay, this is a big statement. It's not true. A lot of Spanish viticulture now is, by definition, organic. The good thing about Spain, Yecla is a fantastic example. Spain is quite dry. Spain doesn't rain very much, and when it rains often at the right time. It rains in spring, when your flowers and fruits need to grow, and it needs all that lovely water. And it will rain, late autumn when you've already picked your grapes. So you don't actually have to use that many kind of chemical processes in this country compared to other more humid places. So you'll find often a lot of the wines are already organic by definition of what organic means to get this, but maybe they don't say it, or, which is another important thing, you have to pay every
if you
year.
want this thing in your label.
And some people go, well, screw that, I know I'm organic. But if you want to say it on the bottle, like Sicrya Ecológico, which they're very proud of, they have to pay a guy every year.
Because there's una auditoría.
Yeah,
so someone has to
the
come
tax,
and
the
check
tax man, but
you are following this practice.
The organic man comes around with a checklist.
Why white wines have more sulfur than reds?
I think they're a bit less stable. I think, no? Look at you, someone who's Googled it and is like, I know the answer. Let me try and guess again. Hang on. Is it because they're more delicate? Why?
Because of the skins. Sulfur is naturally present in the skins of the grapes. So reds needs less skin, less sulfur.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Very good. Very good. Very good fact. Great. Can you get rid of this?
Yeah. So that's I know all of you have a friend that says.
There we go.
What do you mean? Do you want me to remove it?
It's getting annoying.
And all of you have a friend that says is one of those pretentious friends that say, no, I don't drink red wine because it has more sulfites. Okay, no, whites have much more than reds because they need more to become the same stability.
So basically, thanks to us, people will hate you more at parties.
Yeah.
Now, my mum's got a question. Your mother wants to know. Yes, what a biodynamic grape is. So, good question. A biodynamic grape is still basically an organic grape. So, biodynamics, it's like an extension, a supercharged version of organic farming. So, organic farming is like try to use less chemicals, and all those chemicals need to be natural, yada, yada, yada. Biodynamic takes all of the stuff we've just mentioned and amplifies it. It gets a little bit hippie. There was a guy called Rudolf Steiner who came up with the idea of biodynamics many, many decades ago. And he brought in kind of these BS homeopathic, non-scientifically proven processes like picking on certain lunar days. Some days are days for picking, some like Earth days are days where you can drink, and that crap like that. Also things like taking a bull's horn, when it's dead bull's horn, stuffing it full of like manure and
you sure it must be a dead bull? Can it be?
I mean, I presume if they're biodynamic, they would want to make sure it wasn't like my horn. They call them treatments, and you fill it with all these potions and lotions, and you bury it at like one end of the vineyard, and that's supposed to like give back to the earth. Doesn't really do anything. To I've seen people play music to their grapes. Very nice. Fun fact, doesn't do anything to the wine. But the good thing about biodynamics, and the thing which is very good, is it's the idea of looking at the vineyard as a whole, as a biodiverse unit. So instead of being, thinking, oh no, something is eating my grapes, give me that chemical to kill it, you say, oh no, something is eating my grapes, well, what little animal could we introduce? And maybe you let the vineyard auto-regulate, you let things grow, you let animals come in, and you kind of create a more harmonious, biodiverse space, which I think is really cool. Doesn't necessarily mean the wine's going to be better by any means at all, but you can think of biodynamics as slightly more hippie sometimes, not always. A lot of the Spanish biodynamic people just follow the agricultural side of it. Trippy hippies is exactly right. But the agriculture side is really good for land. So, for example, one of our favorite wineries, which is called Las Moradas de San Martín in Madrid, they're cool, on the level people. But by definition, their wines are biodynamic, but they're not like dancing naked under the sun or anything, on the moon.
Well,
So,
as we said before, this is a table wine, a vino de mesa. Means it's not linked to any wine region. But we know very well they are from Yecla. Yecla is this wine region. You can check your map.
Yeah, if you want to know where they are, they're there.
Up in the north of
Murcia, right?
East, northeast of the province of Murcia.
It's basically on the border with La Mancha or Valencia.
La Mancha, Alicante is in the border. With
Have you been? I'm
Yes,
sure you
of
have.
course.
I've never been to Yecla. I don't know
I've
that.
been to Yecla. It's a beautiful town.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful town. It has an.
Is it beautiful, or it has a nice couple of buildings?
It's as beautiful as a town from Murcia can be.
That's a very diplomatically worded phrase there. It's like saying, well, it's as nice as an English summer can be.
Well, it's located in what the altiplano of the region is. That means 400 to 800 meters. 400 to 800.
So these guys are right in the middle, 580. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's a very dry area.
It looks so dry in those photos we saw.
It's very dry. It's very hot in the summer, and the winters are cold. Actually, And
is it more intense? Is it more harsh than Jumilla? Or is it similar to Jumilla?
It's similar. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's similar. And so. These wines are the reds normally has a strong personality.
Well, I was going to say this is probably why
Monastrell is the majority.
Syrah and these grapes.
And Garnacha, they have also Cabernet Sauvignon, Tempranillo, Merlot, Garnacha, Tintorera, and Syrah as this example. But also the whites, Merceguera, Irene, Macabeo, Malvasia, and Chardonnay. So it's the classic wine of Mediterranean wines. And so I suggest if you see wines from this area, don't hesitate and taste it, because they can be very good. Actually, I insist. Yesterday we had a tasting of wines from the Mediterranean, and Yecla won.
Look at that. Sarah's drinking a wine that we sell, which is, you can't quite see, the Alceño Syrah.
Yeah.
We sell that. It's very good. Syrahs from, they're pretty similar. I think the ones from Yecla are a bit darker, maybe a bit more, more unhinged.
Yeah.
But they're very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
I got a quick bit of gossip, by the way.
Okay, let me finish with Yecla. Imagine this wine were from the DO Yecla, from the wine region Yecla. Which percentage of their production goes abroad? Which
I imagine it's like 80% national.
Okay, it's 2% national.
What?
98% international.
What?
No,
No, it's not. No, it's
what's
not.
the gossip you have? No, yes, it is. It is. That is data.
Where?
2019.
Where?
Yeah. Sorry. I made a mistake. 8%.
Oh, that changes everything.
8% domestic.
But to where?
92 international.
That's insane.
So where? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe America.
To Uganda? I don't know.
In Uganda, oh no, I'm not going. I won't do the accent. Get officially banned. We'll get cancelled from YouTube. It was a very good accent, but he's not allowed to do that. Oh, okay. Maybe it's in America then, because most of Jumilla goes to America, so maybe Yekla does. Interesting. Yep. Well, I've got a bit of... My hair is terrible. Good, look at this. Look at that. I've got a massive... Oh, dear.
You need a weekend in Turkey, I told you.
Yeah, I do. My first trip is going to go to Mr. Ahmadabad's wig clinic in Istanbul. So, the bit of gossip, not gossip, we mentioned that this wasn't part of the DO. So I wanted to know why, and very simply, because this is perfectly fine, as Roque said, in Yekla, this beautiful town, you can definitely have Sicrya. So you could go to...
There you are. This is Yekla. It's beautiful.
It's pretty ugly, my friend.
No, it's not.
That is a horrible photo.
No, that's the Basilica de la Purísima Concepción.
That is an okay-looking church in an absolute dystopian... please say you have another photo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Spain. There's always a nice centre. There you go. Oh, you should have led with that one. That's very cute. Okay, nice. What you can always rely on in Spain is every town, no matter how horrible, always has a cute historic old town. So yeah, these guys, Odum, so Jose and Noelia, they actively decided not to be in Yekla DO, which I think was really interesting because they're next door. So we asked them why, and basically it was, they said on one hand, they don't want to and never want to be slaves to any regulations. Basically they said, we want to do whatever the hell we want. So even though this wine basically could be Yekla right now, they don't want to be, which I think is kind of ballsy.
Yeah.
And I suppose, to be honest, nobody knows Yekla wines, so probably they're not losing out. They're not. It's not like I don't want to be Rioja.
Yeah.
If you put Rioja itself, Yekla in Spain, as we've seen, 80% doesn't sell. So they're thinking, well, we don't care. We want to do whatever we want to do. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Something else?
I've got one last little thing. There should be a photo of a grape there for you.
Oh, yeah. We have to talk about these little things.
Very quickly.
Right?
Yeah, a tiny little bit here.
You mean this picture?
There you go. So very quick. I mean, we've talked about this grape before, so I won't bore you to tears. But it is true that this grape... So this is one of my favourite grapes in the world. I love Sicrya. I know Roque and I, for jokes, we like to make jokes about France because we do Spanish wine here. But Sicrya is probably my favourite French red grape. Beautiful, classic grape. There is this other name, however, Shiraz. Now, there is a myth. It's not true. I mean, this grape is as French as Gérard Depardieu. And it probably comes from the Rhone. The first records are in like the 1600s, I think. But there is this other name, Shiraz, in Australia, which has led to this myth that maybe this grape Sicrya was actually originally named after this Persian city of Shiraz. Not true. The Australian name stuck, and arguably the two major sort of international styles of Sicrya are the French one. So actually we have a lovely wine here, which Rocky just bought us. The mythical Gros Hermitage. So this is in the Rhone, and this is the land of the original Syrahs. Fun fact, actually, this is from my old qualifications. In a lot of the old Bordeaux wines, they didn't tell anyone because French people don't tell you anything, but they would sometimes put Syrah into the blend without telling anyone. And they would say this was a Hermitage wine. So the people who knew what that meant were like, oh, this has got a bit of Syrah. Anyway, so the classic style is the French style. It's quite, by French standards, quite robust. Often has the classic black pepper smell. The other modern style is Shiraz from Barossa Valley. So Barossa Shiraz or Australian Shiraz tends to be much darker. They're the ones I prefer. They're much darker. They're much more voluptuous, sometimes more chocolatey. The beautiful thing about Spain is it's sort of like, it's like if you have one is the French style and 10 is the Australian style. Spain is like number 8, so we're more sort of similar to the Australian style, but we still have a little bit of the French influence.
Well,
Your father has been to Shiraz. He can't go to Shiraz, Mum. She's just ignored it. Shiraz is the grape. They went to a place called Heathcote, which is a lovely, and they brought one of the best Shiraz I've ever had, a very fancy bottle of Australian Shiraz.
I remember when I went to Jumilla and Yecla, I had the chance to try. It's a very Manchegan dish.
I like the way you found the most beautiful photo of it. It's not usually that pretty looking.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a pretty looking dish.
But that's a very flattering photo you found.
Well, because it's the gazpacho manchego.
Which confused me for a long time.
Yeah, gazpacho manchego is a dish mainly cooked with rabbit, sometimes with chicken, but rabbit is here's the picture. And
looks nice, isn't it?
in Jumilla and Yecla, because of their proximity to La Mancha, they have a lot of Manchegan recipes,
yeah.
and as you can see, it's made with bread. It's a stew with pepper, tomato, and it's not spicy, but they use like clove and sometimes cinnamon. It's beautiful. It's very aromatic, and this bread, and it's a very countryside dish. Something that you have with your friends when you go to spend the day in the mountain.
Maybe to pair perfectly with this kind of wine.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I was thinking, what do you eat when you went there? And I remind the gazpacho manchego. So I would pair it with that, and it would work perfectly.
Before we go, we have breaking news. I misunderstood my parents. My dad has actually been to the town of Shiraz in Iran.
Oh.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Is where the grape come from?
No, that's where the people think it did, or the name comes from, but it's not. So my dad has drunk Shiraz in Australia, and then he's visited Shiraz in Iran. Interesting.
Well,
bye.
time to say goodbye, right?
It is. By the way, the technical difficulties that we had on Monday,
will be
we're gonna record it and we're gonna upload it on Saturday. So it will be on the internet in a couple of days, but just not live, that one. So you can still watch it, you can still follow on. It'll be very similar with the exact same style, just without me talking to my parents, basically. Which is so professional. So what's the next tasting? The official tasting.
It's on Monday at 9:30. It's gonna be Clos Corvi. It's gonna be the 26th of April at 9:30, same place.
So my friend Heather, well, you know Heather. Heather drank this and her brain exploded.
I love it. I have had it as well.
Clos Corvi.
Clos Corvi Riesling. What an extravagance! Riesling is not a Spanish grape.
My mum. The visit was before you were born. Yeah, I guessed that.
Cool, thanks.
I don't remember my parents going on holiday to Iran when I was growing up. I never got any presents from Iran. Anyway, so yes, Monday for the live. Saturday, we will put it online. Same sort of time, the one from Monday, and
you can do the tasting whenever you want.
Yeah, we don't care.
We don't care. Well, thank you very much for being there, and take care.
I'm now going to put this into a car because it's strong enough to drive home.
Yes, and take care, and see you on Monday.
Ciao.